Okay. I'm not sure how in focus this is, but it's fine because I have a breakout right now, so you don't really need to see that clearly. I feel like I've been talking about how I've been struggling with randomly, like just adolescent acne out of nowhere at my ripe age of 26. But my skin has been doing so much better because I've been doing this like Ayurveda program. But I feel like I'm at the part of my menstrual cycle where I just feel like an ogre, and I feel like that's when acne usually happens. So don't let this be indicative of my journey. But anyway, not me starting this off by deprecating myself. I'm actually in a very good place emotionally. Anyway, hi guys. I hope you are well, or as well as you possibly can be. It's your girl, Jasmine Kylene, and I'm so happy to have you here today. It's been so long since I've just shut on the camera and just chatted it up. You, me, and the great outdoors, right? It's been so long. I spent the last month in London. And I think in survival mode for most of that. I had the most incredible, I think, important time of my life, but I also just was not able to like be creatively expressive. But I think you kind of need the ebb and flow of life. It is in the moments of living life that you sort of regain like the experience and the knowledge that you pour into what you create and what you share. So I lived a lot of life, and here I am integrating it out loud. And today's chat, I usually I take like notes on what I'm gonna talk about, and I don't have any notes, so I'm just gonna talk straight from here, babe. I wanted to talk a little bit about how, or basically just where I'm at in my life right now in terms of my singlehood, because I'm sure that I'll be uploading this around the time that, can you hear all of that outside? I'm gonna close the window. Oh, but it was such a nice breeze. So yes, I'm sure that by the time I upload this, Mercury will already be in retrograde, but I am really deep in the shadow period of it already, I feel, and I'm sharing a few journaling prompts that I think would really benefit anyone that is going to sort of navigate this Mercury retrograde with intention, as you should. And I gifted these journaling prompts because they are what I have been journaling on, and they have built the foundation of how I'm going to move forward with intentionality during this retrograde season. And I think it's just beautiful how Mercury retrograde is aligning with the commencement of fall, and it's aligning as well with like, Mercury is not the only planet retrograde. There's a ton of retrogrades happening right now, and really retrogrades are a period of reflection and return inward and stillness and sort of like resettling and reclamation and review and, you know, all of those like moments that call for stillness and pause. And I am really feeling that. I'm wondering if it's because Mars is going retrograde in my 7th house, which is the house that rules relationships, but I'm emphasizing this energy everywhere in my life, and particularly when it comes to dating and relationships. And I wanted to talk about my perspective and my experience when it comes to being single versus being intentionally single. I haven't been in like a committed relationship in a very long time, but I have been dating and experiencing different shades and flavors of lovers, darling. And it's been the most informative and fun and expansive period of my life. Also very exhausting, very energetically draining. I had one situationship where I wanted it to be more ship and they wanted it to be more situation, and like healing through that was a whole thing. And so I say that all to say that there's one thing to be single, and there's another thing to be like intentionally single, immersed in your solitude, not giving any energy to dating or people or anything outside of what feeds you and nourishes you back. And I really in this shadow period have been invited and sort of yelled at by the universe that that's where I need to be right now. So I am, not that I usually am really on apps, but I do dabble in a Hinge sometimes. Oh my god, I forgot that my hair looks like this. Guys, please just this should be a podcast. Yeah, anyway, I am not on any apps. I am not entertaining any of my like, just those like energetic cords that I have with people that I haven't fully let go, but I also haven't fully let in. Like, just, I'm not in anything half-ass. I'm not giving my energy to anything outside of my my food, my workouts, my work, my creative outlets, my self-care, my healing, my therapy, my forms of expression, my friends. I'm really nourishing the friendships that feel really safe and home-like, right? I'm not showing up for like just like the friends that I have whenever I need to like be social or go out either. Like I'm really like my friends that are family, my friends that feel like home, I'm showing up for those, and the social interactions that feed me back. But I'm really not showing up for anything that is unnecessary or that is just for the hell of it, which I think there's a season for that. And I just had a season of debauchery, honey. August, Jasmine was unhinged. And September onward, Jasmine is really coming back into her nest and integrating everything that I've learned. I think I dated someone. I'd be saying too much online. Let me reel that back in. I had an experience. I had a romantic experience in the month of August that was really beautiful, and I think it really taught me about what it feels like when I'm in a relational dynamic where my nervous system feels safe. And it wasn't until someone took care of me and made me feel safe emotionally that I realized how unsafe emotionally I was, and in other dynamics, and how my nervous system in past relationships and past experiences was on survival mode. And so I think I've learned a huge lesson of like what I want to feel like in a relationship, what I want it to look like, how I'm going to not only let myself be taken care of, but the kind of lover that makes me, and what it looks like when I take care of the other person as well. And that is such useful information, and I'm really in this place where I'm so aware of what I need relationally, and I'm building such impenetrable boundaries around that. It's really non-negotiable how my needs need to be met. And I'm in a season where I'm going to be giving myself everything. I am going to be my own best lover and really nourish the partnership that I have with myself so that I vibrationally align with the partnership that honors and mirrors that energy. And I feel like I've talked about that before. I've said like, I'm not, I have these boundaries now and I've learned so much, and I'm not, check out my Saturn mastery video for all of that tea. But I realized that I wasn't being intentional with my solitude. I think if you're gonna be single, I think there's so many ways to navigate singlehood, and I've been in the part of singlehood where I was exploring and tasting and really data collecting, and it was incredible. But I realized now is the season of sitting, of integrating, of hibernating, of unplugging, of really being with myself and making every single day curated to my betterment. Yesterday, girl, you know what I did yesterday? I woke up, I meditated, I got some work done, I went to a yoga class, then I went to a spa, then I came back home, I showered, I washed my hair, I cleaned the whole apartment, I did laundry, I cooked myself some curry chicken, and then I watched Smart Guy, and then I read, and then I went to sleep. And I remember like laying in bed right before I was going to sleep thinking like, I just had the best day. I was such a good lover to myself. I found pleasure and I had such a sensual experience in every aspect. I ate my kiwis slowly, and I played R&B and soul and bossa nova while I was cooking, and I cleaned my space because I love my space and I love myself, and I want to make sure that the environment that I'm in reflects where I'm at inwardly, and the ecosystem needs to be cohesive. So if I'm in a place inwardly that feels safe and nurturing and peaceful, I want my space to be, swept and safe and smelling and, gleaming and all of those things. And so I say that to say that like I was such a good lover to myself yesterday, and I was like, I want every day to be like this. And of course that doesn't mean I want to go into full isolation. I think you want to marry intentional solitude with nourishing community, but I also don't want to just be social for the fuck of it or date for the fuck of it. I really, I'm just being really intentional with where my energy is going, and making sure that 99.9% of it is going back into myself, into the creative outlets that actually fuel me and nourish me, making sure that my space and my temple, both physical and external and internal, is being well kept. And I'm just in a season where I am going to charge up my magnetism and my energy to such a high caliber that I do not need to be seeking anything, and is going to find me effortlessly because I'm going to be reverberating off the walls. You know what I mean? It's funny because I know there's this thing of like, because I don't want it, I still would like partnership. Not just partnership for the sake of it. I want my person, and I know and I feel that they're working on themselves as well in order to align on the same timeline where we do meet each other as seamlessly and as effortlessly as possible. And so it's not that I'm in this place of like I am saying no to love and only to myself, but rather I am not putting my energy in seeking anything or wasting my energy in things that I know are not it or are half-assed just for, you know, putting on a hot outfit and, you know, getting some sort of gratification from the attention that I get from dating or just being fawned over. Like, I'm really just giving myself everything that I need so that I'm in a space of completeness and a space of wholeness and an energy of being and feeling and nourished in my enoughness, so that I'm not repelling it, nor, you know, sort of exuding this energy of desperation or of want, of need, but rather just so still and firm in where I'm at that everything just kind of aligns with that truth. So I am absolutely calling in my divine counterpart, my partnership, but like, they're gonna find me, or we're gonna find each other. We're gonna align timelines because I'm going to have charged, my aura to be so blaringly bright that I'll just blind them, you know what I mean? I'm excited because I feel like as a creature of solitude, I haven't been in this space of intentional singlehood in a while, and I think my energy needs it. And this wasn't just to babble on about myself, but to say that, especially if you're watching this around the time of upload, mind you, I think this can resonate and align with anybody at any given time, but like, especially if you're near a retrograde season, it is so beneficial in any area of your life to unplug from what is not feeding you back and to just sit still and to integrate everything that you've learned. Retrogrades are all about review and really witnessing, what did I learn, how have I learned it, and what am I going to do to move forward with this energy and with this information. And yeah, so in any area of your life, if this retrograde is you know, bringing up you know, just awareness around your job, your creative expression, or, you know, where you're living, your social groups, or if it's dating for you as well, just consider what it means to not only take away your energy, but to be intentional with how you redirect that energy in the season. Understanding that we are as cyclical as the earth, right? So like, if the earth is entering this fall period, this period of shedding, period of introspection, shouldn't we be in the same place? So yeah, I think it's just such a beautiful invitation to like come back home, and I think you should always just check in with your body. I think my body was in a place where it was really excited to experience as much life as possible, and now my body is responding so well to the idea of like sitting down and watching Disney Plus and making my own self come for the next couple of months. Oh, nice. Nice. Me getting a text about the Real Housewives trailer. I love that. I'll be getting to that immediately. And I think, you know, I pulled this card today that it says, or I pulled it a few days ago. And it was a heart chakra card, and it said tune out to tune in. And I think you cannot really hear yourself and hear what your soul and your body needs unless you are present enough in your stillness. It's not enough to just kind of like be in a period of solitude. If you're still distracted, and if there's still obligations or situations or things that are calling and pulling your attention, you're not looking closely enough at the nothingness of the moment, and you're not letting the silence be loud enough to tell you what the truth is, which is such a convoluted way of saying that like, when you're alone, you can really hear yourself, and you can gain so much more clarity on like, oh shit, like, so like, to still be as vague as possible, but also like just the person that I was dating while I was away from home in the month of August, obviously it was going to be long distance if we continued it, and so we just sort of like understood and agreed upon that, like, okay, once you go back home, like, this is over, and I was very okay with that. And then I found myself really sad on the plane ride home and wondering why that was, because I logically understood what was going on and I was emotionally very okay with it. And when I really tuned in and quieted all of the distraction around me and just sat with my body, I realized the part of me that was crying and the part of me that was sad was my inner child, because my inner child hadn't until then experienced such emotional safety and comfort in a relational dynamic, or at least a romantic relational dynamic. I always feel it with my friends. I'm very good at friendship, but like with dating, it can be different. But yeah. I realized that my inner child had liked being with that person so much because of how unconditional their affection was and how safe I felt to be fully me and to be fully honest and fully communicative and never performative or on edge or overthinking or reading in between lines, or, you know, making sure that I wasn't too accessible because then they would lose interest, but then not being, you know, too forward because then I would scare, like, just, I wasn't in overactive survival mode with this person as I was with other people. And so that information is so informative about how I'm going to move forward when I am discerning with who I allow in romantically, because I realized that, like, I hadn't been prioritizing how my inner child felt in my relationships because I never really realized that that was a question to ask myself. And it wasn't until I sat in intentional solitude after being in such a overstimulating dating era. It wasn't until I sat and integrated everything that I learned that I realized, like, okay, in the partnership that I'm calling in the romantic dynamic that I want for myself next, I need to first and foremost check in with how my inner child feels. Not how my sexual self feels, not my higher self, I mean, that's all important, but like, first and foremost, does my inner child feel safe enough to be unconditionally loved? Or is there any element of performance or stress that she's enduring here? Because if that's true, then I'm going backwards. I'm undoing the work that I've done. I'm not honoring the integration, and I'm doing myself a disservice. So yeah, that's just one of like the many things that I learned in my intentional solitude. So yeah, I hope you are, so I hope whatever part of the journey that you're on, especially relationally, I hope that at the very least you're being intentional about it, that you're not scattered in whether you're in a relationship and you're not being intentional with making sure that it's a conscious partnership, or if you are in your singlehood and you're not being intentional about making sure that it's a conscious time of introspection and stillness. So yeah, happy retrograde season. We love this for us. And I'm not sure when I'm uploading this video. If it is before Mercury retrograde, then I will be uploading a video all about this retrograde, more refined details about specifically Mercury being in Libra and how it's going to be dancing with the rest of the planets that are in retrograde. So check that out, because I always want to use my astrology as a tool to inform us about how we can work alongside the planets and live our most empowered and highest potential lives. So look out for that. Look out for all the astro updates, because that's what I'd be doing, and more of me talking to the camera about where I'm at in this never-ending journey of becoming. Yeah, now that I'm back in my space in Madrid, I'm excited to make more intimate sit-down videos again. So if you feel called to hear me speak on anything, let me know. So yes, I'm sending you all my love. I hope that you're well, and I'll see you next time. Feel free to subscribe, to follow me on Instagram at JasmineKylene, to subscribe for more conscious content. Yeah, bye.